Welcome back. AI, artificial intelligence. Boy, did we ever have some discussions on artificial intelligence. What do you think, Colin?
Well, we might be in a position where we have to replace good old-fashioned intelligence, as it seems to be disappearing with artificial intelligence. But seriously, and that's obviously in jest, technology is advancing. Technology is going to keep advancing. If you look at the rate technology is advancing at, do we know exactly, first of all, so let's back up a little bit. So there's a philosophical question, there's a practical question. The philosophical question is, when does machine intelligence become intelligence by the classic definition, right? So that's the first question. And my assumption, although this is a prediction that's been made for the last 100 years, it's going to happen in the next 20 years, it's going to happen in the next 20 years, and it hasn't happened because I think as we go forward, we realize that human intelligence is a lot more complex than we gave it credit for 20 years ago. But there is going to be a point where we are going to build a computer that is going to be smarter on every aspect or every definition that we can think of than we are. It's going to happen. The question becomes, how do we deal with that eventuality? How do we deal with that? What do we do? So, and I think, you brought up this, Jim, during our discussion, kind of during the interim period. Sci-fi has talked about this for a long time, right? So if you read Isaac Asimov, that the 3 laws of robotics, which ruled robots in his sci-fi, and this is a man who was a scientist that became a sci-fi writer, and he thought about these things and thought about the fact that you need to structure machine intelligence to the point where it's not able to harm natural living beings, and build artificial intelligence to the point where it has to protect life, right, or protect human beings and not become the dominant form of intelligence. Because the danger that we face is at some point we'll build something that's so much smarter than we are, it decides we're kind of like a virus.
But isn't that what Stephen Hawking is telling us? The smartest man on the planet?
It is, but honestly, and I think Stephen Hawking as a physicist has been one of the greatest physicists we've had, but he's also been wrong on a number of the theories he's proposed, and he's had to change his opinion. So just because he believes that, and I think it's a valid concern. It's a valid concern because this could happen. However, it is a natural, unless we are willing to turn the tide back, unless we are willing to completely distance ourselves from technology, which, we may as well then at that point just nuke ourselves because we've deviated from any purpose we may have in the universe. But we are going to have to cross this bridge.
I don't think we are. Because hear me out here. Number one, I think it's going to be harder than we think to build something smarter than we are. Not faster than we are. We can do that all day long. Not more accurate than we are. We can do that all day long. But the human mind is a combination of things, one of which is emotion, which I haven't seen where they can reproduce that yet. And as much as we can automate things, and I've been in business more years than I care to think about at this point, and they talked about paperless. Well, we're not paperless. We have more paper today than we've ever had. And they talked about how the computers were going to free us. No, they haven't. They just give us different and more information from which to make decisions. They do make us smarter in certain ways, but they serve us. We don't serve them. And you look at a famous movie, you want to talk about sci-fi, and I'm not sure this is sci-fi, but you remember Stanley Kubrick's famous movie, Dr. Strangelove?
Yes.
Or how? So they built this computer that took the idea of when to use the nuclear bomb out of the hands of humans. Well, guess what? It was an epic fail in that movie. And that, I think, is what would happen if we tried to turn over.
But there's one major thing we're forgetting. All of us are forgetting. Right now, we're taping. We're going through a production. People will get a chance on their home TV screens to watch us 4 different times over the next several days. A squirrel comes out of the woods here, getting ready to store one of these walnuts. He goes up in a tower and knocks the power out. You don't have anything in here. You wipe everything out. What's the blast that takes place that the book was written about, the major blast that knocks everything out.
EMP, electromagnetic pulse.
Right.
Electric magnetic pulse.
It doesn't kill the people, it just kills the technology.
Then the people kill each other trying to live and survive because nothing runs. That's what will happen
Well-
with the dependence we're putting on computers.
Potentially, but the other issue is...
We mean potentially. It's a fact.
No, I don't think it's a fact. I think it's a theory at this point. It could happen, yes. I'm not arguing that it could happen.
It's
just
not going to
arguing-
wipe out society. It would wipe out a segment of society because some people are not going to neither have the experience nor the fortitude to deal with that major of a change in their real world.
Here's the other problem. Technology likes black and white. It likes on or off, binary, right?
Unless you're dealing with quantum computing, in which case you're dealing with 32 different states of a particle.
Regardless, my point is that there are very few black and white decisions in life. There are a couple, but everything else I think is pretty nuanced. And I think that incorporating that into technology to the point where we trust it to run the types of things that we're talking about is going to be almost impossible.
But trust and technology reaching the level where it develops some sort of an awareness are two different things. So we are literally within 5 years of designing a computer system that can simulate an entire universe from its inception in a Big Bang through its life cycle. And think about what that means, because there are things that are not programmed that are happening in that simulation where life may spontaneously occur. Is that life aware of the fact that it's occurring in a simulation? No, it's not, because that's the universe that exists in.
Well, Colin, you've had the last word on this. Stay tuned. Fast 5 next.